If you're buying or selling real estate in the Fraser Valley in 2026, this video is for you because the market right now is being totally misunderstood. Let's talk about what's really going on in the Fraser Valley real estate market as we head into the first quarter of 2026. And more importantly, what this practically means for you if you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing somewhere in the valley this year. Short version is the market's not booming, but it's definitely not crashing either. It's resetting, and that creates a ton of opportunity, but only if you know the rules of the current game. First point I want to talk about today is price. Across the valley, prices are still down from the highs that we saw in 2022 and the first half of 2023. We've seen year over year declines in the mid single digit range, of course, depending on property type and location. However, condos and other investor heavy product have suffered the most. Detached homes have held up a little bit better, especially those in more family oriented and commuter friendly neighborhoods. Why this matters for the first quarter of this year is that prices aren't in a free fall anymore. They're more sort of finding a floor. Now, that doesn't mean prices are about to rip higher either. It means that the tight, easy corrections are probably behind us for the most part, and instead what we're going to start seeing now is a lot of sideways movement with small, localized shifts. Second point is that inventory is still crazy high, and this really does change everything. Old news by now, but this is definitely one of the parts of the current market that buyers are absolutely loving, while sellers are not. Inventory across the valley is still well above seasonal averages, which translates to meaning buyers have options. We're not really seeing widespread bidding wars happen any longer, with that having been replaced by negotiations and generally contracts getting accepted really quite easily. For buyers, this is one of the healthiest environments we've seen in years. On the other hand, for sellers, it means pricing correctly is no longer optional, it's everything. Third point is interest rates are still the gatekeeper. Rates still quietly control the environment, and even with some relief from peak levels, affordability is still stretched really thin in a lot of households. Buyers are cautious, payment focused, and a lot less emotional than they were a number of years ago. What I'm seeing is a lot of buyers right now who certainly can buy, but only when the numbers work out right. This means that overpriced listings sit, well priced listings sell, and value means everything. The fourth point I'd like to address in this video is probably the most important, and that's the fact that the Fraser Valley isn't one big market, it's several smaller ones that often overlap quite a bit. Surrey and Langley, for example, continue to benefit from increased transit opportunities, density, and employment growth. Townhomes and well-located condos still tend to move pretty quickly in those cities. Abbotsford and Mission, for comparison, are more single-family driven with longer days on market generally, but still heavy family demand. Another important note here is that smaller communities can see more volatility, but that's just because smaller numbers can often skew the data. Remember this, if you're making decisions based on headlines or Canada-wide stats, you're kind of already behind. So in conclusion, let's get practical. What does this mean for you? If you're buying, you have a really strong negotiating window right now. You have leverage, choice, and time, just to name a few benefits. The key here is discipline. Don't rush, don't chase, and don't buy something unless it fits with your long-term plan. If you're selling, try to remember that this market rewards realism. Homes that are priced sharply and presented well are definitely still moving, whereas homes that are priced like it's still 2021 don't. A quick third point for investors is that this is no longer a speculation market. Cash flow, rental demand, and long-term fundamentals are more important than ever, and in my opinion, that's healthy. Final closing thoughts here as we enter the first quarter of 2026 here in the Fraser Valley. The market is calmer, more rational, and a lot more strategic than it has been in previous years. And that's really good news if you know how to navigate it. If you want hyper-local market insights, or you're just trying to decide if 2026 is the right time for you to buy or sell, you can book a call with me using the link below. And if you liked this style of video and this type of content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'm Matt, and I'm bringing you down to earth.